If you're over 65 and feel like your mind isn't working the way it used to, that you're constantly forgetting names, that you walk into a room and wonder what you were doing there, then please stop everything and listen to me carefully. What I'm about to tell you now could be the beginning of a radical change. It may seem like an exaggeration, but in a few minutes you'll understand why. Just 3 months ago, Mrs. Carmen appeared in my office. She walked slowly, shuffling her feet, with a weary look, the kind I've seen so many times throughout my career. She sat down across from me and said in a choked voice, "Doctor, I can't take it anymore. I forget everything. My family thinks I'm going crazy." At that moment, I knew I needed to tell her something that has transformed the lives of so many of my patients. Something simple, yet powerful. My name is Ana Laura, and I've been a neurologist for over 25 years. After decades of monitoring the aging of so many people, I discovered something that changed the way I view the human brain. There's a very common and very dangerous idea that memory loss is part of aging, that it's normal and inevitable. But this isn't true. It's a lie that has led millions of elderly people to accept living in mental confusion, as if it were the only way forward. But I'll tell you something that might surprise you. In my office, I've seen 90-year-old men and women with more mental agility than 40-year-olds. And no, it's not luck or genetics. The difference lies in something much simpler, something anyone can do, in the comfort of their own home, without medication, devices, or physical exertion. When I started explaining this to Ms. Carmen, she cut me off. "But doctor, I eat well, I do crossword puzzles, I take my vitamins," and therein lay the problem. The things everyone considers good for the brain sometimes just aren't enough. What the brain really needs as we age isn't more information, it's reactivation. It needs to be awakened, reconnected, stimulated in ways many people can't even imagine. That's what happened to Roberto, another patient of mine. He was skeptical at first, but within 3 weeks, his memory had improved by 40%. And the most unbelievable thing, the secret was in the feet. Yes, you heard right, in the toes. There's a direct connection between the feet and the cerebellum, the region of the brain responsible for balance, attention, and yes, memory. And this is precisely the crux of what I want to share with you today. 5 simple movements that take less than a minute to do, but can completely transform your mental clarity. While many think it's too late, that their brains are already too tired, others their age are recovering memories, focus, and attention, all with just these easy exercises. If this is already eye-opening, just wait until you see what comes next. And look, if you know someone who's going through this, someone who seems to be slowly fading away, share this video. It could be the turning point for them, like it was for Dona Carmen. What I'm telling you here is the result of years of research, thousands of consultations, and real moving stories I've seen firsthand. The truth is, it's never been about age. It's always been about stimulation. Decline doesn't come suddenly. It comes slowly, almost invisible. It starts with a forgetfulness here, a confusion there, and before you know it, you've already grown accustomed to the mental fog. But the good news? It's possible to get out of this. Dona Carmen only needed 2 weeks. After that, her daughter called me, excited. "Doctor, Mommy's back. She's remembering stories from our childhood. She's talking again. It almost seems like she's 20 years younger. And it all started with one small step. Literally. You know that feeling when your mind just doesn't follow the same path it used to? You walk into a room and simply forget why you went there. Words disappear. Long conversations seem hard to follow, and thoughts don't come as quickly as they used to. You might think it's stress, or that you're just tired. But actually, these are signals, silent signs that your brain is asking for help. I remember well the day I visited Mr. Miguel. We were in his kitchen, with the wonderful smell of freshly brewed coffee, when he showed me a worn notebook. It was a diary, but a diary of forgetfulness. "Doctor, look, yesterday I forgot my grandson's name. Today I couldn't remember where I put my keys." And the more he wrote down, the sadder he became. Then I looked him in the eye and said something that changed everything. "Miguel, your brain isn't broken. It's just asleep. And the good news is, we can wake it up." Over time, and without the right stimuli, some parts of the brain begin to shut down. The hippocampus, responsible for memory, slows down. The cerebellum, which controls balance and some of our attention, loses strength. And circulation to the brain diminishes, day by day. It's like a plant forgotten in a corner, It doesn't die overnight, but it does begin to wither. The good news? All it takes is water and care for it to flourish again. And it's the same with your brain. It just needs the right stimulation. Something simple, constant, and something you can do right there, sitting in your armchair. No, you won't need hours of training or complicated techniques. I'm talking about 1 minute a day, and I'll show you the first exercise now. It may sound strange, but it has a solid neurological basis. It all starts with the toes. That's right, your toes. Many people ask, but what do my feet have to do with my memory? It turns out they're directly connected to the cerebellum. When you consciously move your toes, you activate areas of the brain that have been dormant for years. I remember Mr. Ramon Garcia, 75 years old. He came to me walking with difficulty, unsteady, always afraid of falling. It wasn't a lack of strength. The problem was that his brain had lost its connection with his body. I suggested a simple exercise. Move his toes for 1 minute every day. He laughed at the time. Will moving my foot help my head? But he agreed to try. The exercise is like this. Sit in a comfortable chair, lift your toes and hold for 5 seconds. Lower your fingers and press them firmly into the floor for another 5 seconds. Then, massage the floor with your fingertips for 10 seconds. Finally, open and close your fingers slowly for another 10 seconds. There you go, 30 seconds. Do this twice and you have it. 1 minute of brain reactivation. 2 weeks later, Mr. Ramon came back looking different. He looked at me and said, "Doctor, I walk more steadily now. I hardly need to lean on anything. And the strangest thing is that my mind is clearer. It's like a light has been turned on inside me." And he wasn't alone. A study from the University of Tokyo confirmed these effects. Elderly people who practiced these movements for 3 weeks straight saw real gains in coordination, balance, and memory. And all of this brings us to second exercise, perhaps one of the most important, because it acts on something that many people ignore, the blood circulation to the brain. When blood doesn't reach the brain with enough force, it also doesn't receive enough oxygen and nutrients. And little by little, it begins to fail. But don't worry. You'll discover how this can change, with simple daily movements, without having to leave home. Want to continue? I can show you the second exercise. And what's the result of all this? A slower, more confused, less alert mind. But what I discovered next was even more surprising. The neck, you see, acts as a vital bridge between the body and the brain. And if this bridge becomes tense or stiff, from stress, poor posture, or lack of movement, the blood flow that should nourish the brain begins to be blocked. It's like kinking a hose. No water flows through, no matter how strong the pressure. That was the case with Mrs. Isabel from Guadalajara. During a consultation, she told me something that stuck with me. "Doctor, I feel like I have a cloud inside my head. It's a weight all day long." Examining her neck, I understood why. It was so stiff she could barely turn from side to side. I taught her a simple but very effective exercise. Sitting with her back straight and shoulders relaxed, she began to do the following. Slowly turn your head to the right, as far as is comfortable. Return to the center and repeat for the left side. Then, lift your chin, as if you were going to look at the sky, holding it for a few seconds. And finally, gently lower your head, resting your chin on your chest. All this, done calmly, breathing deeply, takes only 30 seconds. Repeated twice, the minute flies by. But the effects, oh, the effects. 2 weeks later, I received a call from Mrs. Isabel. The voice was different. "Doctor, that heavy feeling is gone. I seem to be able to think more clearly. Even my daughter commented that I'm speaking better, faster. When we unblock this bridge in the neck, blood starts circulating as it should. Oxygen arrives. The brain wakes up." But if that has already impressed you, wait for the third exercise, perhaps the most curious of all. It involves a part of your body that you use all the time, but never imagined could help clear your thoughts. The language. Yes, the language. Mr. Carlos, a skeptical and good-natured patient, laughed when I explained. "The tongue, doctor. Really. But when I told him that it's full of nerve endings connected directly to the brain, and that every conscious movement sends stimuli to the areas responsible for speech, verbal memory, and mental agility, his smile gave way to a look of curiosity. The exercise I taught him was like this. Sitting with your back straight and your mouth slightly open, stick your tongue out as far as you can and hold it for a few seconds. Then move to the right side, as if you were going to touch your cheek. Then take it to the left side. Press your tongue against the roof of your mouth, the palate, alternating between pressure and relaxation. And finally, make circles with your tongue inside your mouth, first in one direction, then in the other. This all takes about 30 seconds. Repeated twice, another full minute. Mr. Carlos, who was always getting stuck in the middle of sentences, who forgot simple words, returned weeks later with his eyes shining. Doctor, yesterday I talked to my grandson about school. I remembered the names of his friends. I even told him a story from my childhood. It had been months since I'd been able to do that. This exercise is powerful, especially if you feel like words are stuck, that they don't come when you need them. Imagine your brain as a house with many rooms. Over time, some doors close, the lights go out. But with these simple movements, we begin to open windows, turn on lights, reconnect areas that seemed forgotten. And now we come to something that almost nobody knows, but which makes all the difference. The fourth exercise. It involves a part of the body that everyone underestimates. The ears. They're not just for listening. Inside them is a fundamental system for balance, orientation, and alertness. The inner ears are directly connected to the brainstem, one of the most primitive and important regions of the brain. When you stimulate these areas correctly, you activate reflexes that improve focus, concentration, and environmental awareness. It sounds like magic, but it's pure neuroscience. Donna Maria, from Monterrey, arrived at the doctor's office with unsteady steps and hands constantly glued to something. The dizziness was constant, and her family was constantly on high alert. She had fallen several times before, and the fear of another fall prevented her from even leaving the house. When I explained that the next step would be to massage her ears, she laughed, thinking I was joking. But I took her seriously and said, Donna Maria, our ears aren't just for hearing. They're connected to our centers of balance, orientation, and alertness. When stimulated correctly, the effects can be surprising. I taught her the exercise. It's simple. Sit in a relaxed position with your spine straight. Hold both ears with your hands. First, gently pull up and hold for a few seconds. Then, repeat the movement to the sides. Then pull down slightly. Finally, massage in circles, as if you were drawing around them with your fingers. In just 30 seconds, circulation in the area begins to improve. Many people feel their ears warm, their face soften, and their head feel lighter. 3 weeks later, Donna Maria walked into the office alone, with firm steps and a sparkle in her eyes. Doctor, the dizziness is gone. I was able to go to the grocery store by myself. Can you believe it? The family couldn't hide their surprise. But the most powerful moment was yet to come. You can do each of these exercises separately and already get good results. But the true impact happens when they are all combined, forming an integrated sequence of just a minute. It's like an orchestra. Each instrument has its value, but when they play together, the music transforms. I remember Donna Carmen Lopez, 80. Well, when we met, she could barely complete a sentence. She walked with difficulty, spoke slowly, and searched for words like someone searching for something lost in a dark room. Her neck barely moved. She had all these symptoms at once. Suspicious, she asked me, Doctor, do I really need to do all this? It seems too complicated for me. And I understood. 5 different exercises might seem like a lot, even impossible. But when I showed her that it could all be done in just 1 minute, sitting comfortably, effortlessly, I saw her eyes light up with a glimmer of hope. Step by step, I set up the routine with her. Sitting down, she began moving her toes up and down, while slowly rotating her neck from side to side. Then, while opening and closing his toes, he moved his neck up and down. Then he stuck out his tongue, while gently pulling his ears up. He moved his tongue from side to side, while pulling his ears to the sides. He pressed his tongue against the roof of his mouth as he pulled his ears down. And finally, he swirled his tongue around in his mouth, massaging his ears in circular motions. All this done calmly, without rushing. 1 minute. That's all. 3 weeks passed, and Donna Carmen returned. But she was a different person. He entered with firm steps, speaking clearly and with a smile that lit up the office. Doctor, you won't believe this. Yesterday I remembered the phone number of a friend I haven't seen in 20 years. I called her. We talked for an hour. My daughter said I'm unrecognizable. This is what happens when you fully activate your brain. When each part receives the right stimulus, the body responds. Memory lights up. Life changes colors. But if you think you've heard it all, there's more. Because they exist 3 simple secrets that can accelerate these results and help the brain transform even faster. Want to find out what they are? The first secret is so simple that many people ignore it. Drink a glass of water before starting. It may seem silly, but it isn't. About 80% of our brain is made of water, and when we are well hydrated, everything improves. Neural connections become faster, blood circulation intensifies, and the effects of exercise are enhanced. Mr. Fernando told me with a smile on his face, "Doctor, ever since I started drinking a glass of water first, my mind seems to be turning on faster. It's like starting a car with the engine already warmed up." And he's right. Water prepares the ground, as if telling the brain, "Hey, it's time to wake up." The second secret. It's something that most people also do automatically, but rarely in the right way. Breathe deeply during movements. Breathe in slowly through your nose and out slowly through your mouth. This simple practice activates the parasympathetic system, which helps you relax, reduce anxiety, and bring more oxygen to your brain. It's like opening a window and letting fresh air in. Your mind brightens, and your thoughts flow more easily. And the third secret, I learned by chance from Dona Esperanza, a charming lady who loved to listen Agustin Lara while doing the exercises. One day she said to me, "Doctor, when I put on my favorite music, everything flows better. I feel like my body is cooperating." And you know what I discovered? She was absolutely right. Music activates brain regions linked to top leisure, motivation, and memory. Doing these exercises to the sound of something you love, it could be bolero, samba, jazz, or even the sounds of nature, turns that moment into a true moment of well-being. But, just as important what to do, is to know what to avoid. There are 3 common mistakes that can hinder your progress without you realizing it. The first mistake is the rush. Many people do their exercises in a rush, as if they were crossing a task off their list. But the brain doesn't like rushing. He needs attention and presence. Mr. Alejandro learned this the hard way. In the early days, I did everything quickly just to get it over with, but I didn't feel a thing. When I started taking it slow, like you taught me, everything changed. Now it's my moment of the day. I enjoy every second. The second mistake is push too hard. You don't need to strain your neck until it hurts or pull your ears hard. These exercises aren't a competition. They're an invitation to the body, and invitations aren't shouted. They're whispered. Dona Lucia believed that the more she pulled, the better the result would be. But she realized, after some pain, that the key is in softness, and that's when the results started to appear. And the third mistake, perhaps the most common of all, lack of constancy. A person does it once, feels better, and stops, forgets about it. But the brain, like a plant, needs daily care. Mr. Raphael explained it to me with a perfect metaphor. "Doctor, it's like watering a plant. If you water it one day and then forget, it withers. But if you give it a little water every day, the plant flourishes." It was the same for me. Within a month, I already felt a difference. Within 3 months, my family couldn't believe it. And that's it. While you're there, maybe wondering if this will even work, thousands of people your age are rediscovering their mental clarity. Not because they found a magic formula, but because they gave their brains the right stimulus. Every day, for just 1 minute. 1 minute, a glass of water, a deep breath, a song that makes you smile, and a commitment to yourself. Your brain isn't old. It's waiting to be awakened. There are people who thought it was too late, that their minds were no longer responding, that memory lapses were part of the end. And today, they are living like never before. Donna Carmen, for example, now plays memory games with her grandchildren, and wins. They laugh, and she laughs even harder. Mr. Miguel looked into his wife's eyes again with that presence she missed so much. And Mr. Roberto sent me a photo straight from Cancun. He and his wife, holding hands, celebrating 50 years of marriage. "Doctor," he wrote, "thanks to you, I can enjoy every second of this trip. I remember the conversations, the smells, the details. It's like living again." They all have something in common. They didn't accept the idea that it was the end. They did not accept the loss of clarity. They decided that age is just a number, that the brain, with the right stimulation, still has a lot to offer. And they were right. Because the brain, contrary to what you've been told, is not doomed to extinction. He can renew, see reconnect, see revive, but only if you take the first step. And you? What will you choose? Are you going to keep saying it's age? Will you continue to accept forgetfulness as a natural part of life? Or will you take the reins back? That decision is yours. But listen to me. Your brain is ready. He's in there, waiting for you to say some. Now imagine you waking up in 3 weeks with a lighter, more alive, clearer mind, remembering names, telling stories in detail, participating in conversations effortlessly, walking steadily, feeling like yourself again. It's not fantasy. It's real. And it is a minute away. 1 minute a day. Not tomorrow. Not on Monday. Today. Because every day you let your brain sit still, it slows down a little more. But every day you dedicate that minute, it gains strength. You gain lucidity, autonomy, confidence. You invest in yourself. It doesn't need anything special. No medicine, no gym, no leaving the house. It only needs you, sitting comfortably, taking a deep breath, moving your toes, rotating your neck lightly, sticking out the tongue, massaging the ears. 1 minute that can change everything. If you've made it this far, it's because something inside you already knows. You still have a lot to live for. There is still a lot to remember. It still has a lot to offer. Listen to that voice. Trust her. Start today. And in 3 weeks, tell me how it went. Because maybe it is your story that I will tell you next time. Your transformation can inspire someone who is, right now, on the other side of the screen, feeling the same doubts, the same fear, the same fatigue. And do you know what I'm going to say to that person? That it is worth it. That your mind is worth it. That you are worth it. Thank you for making it this far. Thank you for not giving up on yourself. And remember, your brain hasn't given up on you. He's just waiting for you to say yes. Yes, I want my mind back. Yes, I deserve clarity, presence, life. 1 minute a day to gain years of life. What are you waiting for?